Hello and welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones.
And Matt Baker. Now there's sorcery in the studio this evening as one of the stars of Merlin is here, and I have got a brilliant trick. Now you can help. If you say the magic words, the special guest tonight will appear.
I don't believe it.
Well done.
Hey?
It's Richard Wilson.
Oh, of course! Don't believe it. Yeah.
Well done. Very good. Very good.
Good to see you, Richard. Thanks ever so much for coming along. Now, Merlin, a massive hit. They even have action figures. And would you have thought that in your more elderly years, or more mature years, that you yourself would be an action figure?
No, I never thought I'd be an action.
It's tiny, though.
Have you got action figures?
We haven't, no. For Christmas, though, maybe.
Oh, well,
we might think about that.
Yeah. It's not, to be fair, though, Richard, it's not a great likeness. Let's just have a look at the close-up. Ready? There we are. You can see on the screen.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not a great likeness? It looks nothing like me.
No.
Oh,
if I looked like that, I'd shoot myself.
Well,
we don't. Thank goodness.
Should have said that.
Right.
We'll talk more about Merlin later on, but it's not just Matt and I asking the questions. We've got some big fans of Merlin in the studio, poised with questions.
Yes, there we are. And
yes.
One little fella at the back there is John Sargent as well, and he's also here. He's going to be celebrating a very special 75th birthday. And speaking of fire and explosions and all things like that, Merlin is back for a 4th series next month. And by the looks of all of this, things are not well in Camelot. My word! Richard, how long did it take you to grow your hair for that?
I just shaved it off on Saturday.
Of course, of course. But what can we expect then from the new series?
Well, I'm not allowed to tell you. Really?
Well,
one thing I can tell you is it's in 35mm now. We used
Right.
to shoot in 16mm. It's now in 35mm, so it's going to look even better.
But you can't tell us anything about the plot.
No.
It's just the format.
Is there drama? Is there romance?
There's lots of romance. There's...
You really can't tell us, can you?
Well, I'm not supposed to.
Don't,
Yeah, I
honestly.
could, but
Don't worry.
You'd get into trouble, and we don't want that.
And it was spoiled for these fans here.
We've got some lovely shots going on in the background.
Looks...
But, I mean, it does look like a Hollywood blockbuster. I mean, when you compare that to some of the stuff that you've done in the past, I mean, what is it like to actually work on?
Well, it is very different from One Foot in the Grave.
Yeah, of course.
It's much longer shooting time, of course. We do 13 episodes at a time, which is quite a long time.
Yeah. And are you aware of how epic it's going to look when you're actually doing it? Because obviously there's lots of special effects and all that kind of
Well, the CGI, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons for the success of Merlin. The post-production is brilliant.
They
put a lot of CGI in, they put a lot of music in, and all that is very special, I think.
Well, as you say, it is incredibly successful, and we've got some big fans of Merlin now, ready to ask you some questions.
Oh.
We'll start with Kit Bryan, age 6. Here we are.
Who would you like to make disappear?
Oh, dear.
Who would you like to make disappear?
Oh, who would I... That's difficult.
It is difficult.
I tell you who I'd like to make disappear, the person who's in charge of the railway ticketing system.
I thought we'd got away from One Foot in the Grave.
I did a dispatches about the railways, and the ticketing system is crazy. I mean, you can't just go to the station now and buy a ticket. You've got to book weeks in advance, unless you want to pay a fortune. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, OK, I don't know if that was the answer that Kit was after, but anyway, we'll move on to Jakey Allen, age 6.
If you wanted to be someone for a day, who would it be?
What was that?
If you would like to be somebody for a day...
If I would like to be somebody for a day...
He definitely doesn't work on the trains.
Oh, dear, gosh, that's a difficult one. I'd like to be someone who owns a very beautiful yacht in the Mediterranean.
Oh, what
Good answer. And all these people who've asked questions are over there in the audience. There they are.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a bit of a difficult question now from Raffy Smith. He's age 6. Have a look at this.
Why did Uther destroy all of the dragons and only leave one?
So, why did Uther destroy all of the dragons and leave just one, Richard?
Well, I think he was thinking in terms that maybe one day there'd be a theme park. And so they had to keep one dragon to show what they were like. And he's imprisoned this dragon.
Yeah,
okay.
There we are.
I can't think of a better answer.
Rafi, does that answer your question? Thumbs up? Yes, it does.
Yes.
Thanks ever so much.
I thought there'd be easy questions.
Yeah. Well...
They're really tough.
Well,
hard audience. Anyway, thanks to the children of Stevenson School for all of their questions there. What does the government say about it not being compulsory, you know, not to have that conversation between the family and the doctors?
Well, we spoke to the Department of Health today, and it pointed out quite rightly that there have been guidelines in place for a number of years to say that in most cases that discussion should take place.
Yeah.
So you should talk to the person that you're considering putting a do not attempt resuscitation order on, and or their family if they're not in a fit mental state to take that message on board. And if you don't, and there are reasons why you might not want to in someone who's very, very ill, you should record the reason why you haven't done that in the notes. But most of these problems originate from a communication problem. It's just not sitting down and talking to people properly.
But how can the family then find out if they don't already know, if there is a DNAR decision on, you know, the patient that's ill?
What you need to remember, this is something about the patient, and if they're in a fit mental state, the family don't have a right to know anything. It's between the doctor and the patient. There's patient confidentiality. But realistically, you can either ask the relative themselves if the doctors have discussed it, or you can approach the sister on the ward or the doctor, and they'll sit down and have a chat with you about it. But they might need your relative's permission to talk to you about it because it's confidential.
I mean, you would think, wouldn't you, go into hospital, that's to be resuscitated.
Listen, the default situation is that everybody is resuscitated. It should be an independent assessment of each individual case is made to decide whether that's not going to apply. So when you go into hospital, you will be resuscitated. That's the norm, unless somebody decides that the problems may outweigh the benefits.
And if the family don't agree, then is there anything they can do to change the doctor's mind?
As you heard in the film there's no legal right to force a doctor to do something that they don't think is right, but you can lobby them and say, look, I think you've misread this situation, and or you can ask for a second opinion, as mentioned in the film there. So if you're not happy with it, you must express the fact that you're not happy.
Well, what are your thoughts on this, Richard? Because it's very...
Well, I think I got it in my will. There's a bit in your will, isn't there? You can
have an advance notice, yes.
Yeah, I put an advance notice in my will.
Right.
Not to be read.
Not to be. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, that's the thing we find a lot of. A lot of people do that.
Yeah. And I mean, there isn't like a group of society that is tagged with this.
No.
You know, kind
it's not an age thing. It's not a certain illness thing. You've got cancer, therefore you're over 75. Therefore, none of that. It's all nonsense. It's all done, or should be done, on a case-by-case basis. And that's why you can't legislate for it. It has to be done by the doctors assessing each person.
All right, then, Mark. Thanks ever so much indeed. Now we are